vibrant democracy. This clearly is a story that needs to be unfolded. Please watch The Journey, Indian Parliamentarians in Conversation with China NC.
Welcome. You're watching India at G20. On the show today, we will bring to you voices from the Employment Working Group meeting in Guwahati on the issues discussed during the meeting, such as giving social security cover to workers in the emerging gig and platform economy and financing that social security. Also on the show, updates from engagement group meetings such as Science 20, Empower 20, Business 20 and Youth 20. All that and more over the next 30 minutes. I'm Anmol Bhattacharya. First up, the top stories. On second day of the Employment Working Group meeting in Guwahati, delegates discuss draft outcome documents on key priorities of addressing global skill gaps, gig and platform economy and sustainable financing of social protection policies. Three-day second G20 Empower meeting begins in Kerala's capital Thiruvananthapuram. Detailed deliberations take place on economic prosperity, opportunities and more under the theme Women's Empowerment, a Win-Win for Equity and Economy. Two-day Science 20 conference on the theme Clean Energy for Greener Future concludes in Agartala. On the final day, delegates explore Tripura's diverse flora and fauna, its important archaeological sites and attractive tourist spots. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the 5th International Conference on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure or ICDRI 2023, where he spoke on how Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure or CDRI has been included in many working group meetings under India's G20 presidency and assured that solutions that will be explored at this conference will receive attention at the highest levels of global policy making. Here's what CDRI does. It aims to promote the resilience of infrastructure systems to climate and disaster risks, thereby ensuring sustainable development. It was established in 2019 under the leadership of the Government of India and with the support of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction as a multi-stakeholder global partnership of national governments, UN agencies and programs, multilateral development banks, the private sector and academic institutions. Listen in to the Prime Minister.
India is also bringing the world together through its G20 presidency. At the president of G20, we have already included the CDRI in many working groups. The solutions you explore here will receive attention at the highest levels of global policy making. This is an opportunity for CDRI to contribute to infrastructure resilience, especially against climate risk and disasters. I am confident that the deliberations at ICDRI 2023 will provide a pathway to achieve the shared vision of a more resilient world.
72 delegates from the G20 countries and international bodies such as the International Labour Organization, that is ILO, and World Bank brainstormed today over the draft ministerial declaration on employment and labour in Guwahati. This is the second meeting of the Employment Working Group under the Sherpa track of the G20 that is currently underway in Guwahati city of Assam. India has 3 key priority areas for the working group under its presidency. They are addressing global skill gaps, gig and platform economy, and sustainable financing of social protection policies. On day 2 of the discussions at the second Employment Working Group meeting in Guwahati, delegates initiated their discussions on draft outcome documents on key priorities. Day 2 opened with an insightful session focused on draft ministerial declaration. It aims to give further direction to the global economy through its implementation. Discussions also took place on certain aspects of the gig and platform economy and on strengthening social protection for its workers. DD India correspondent Nandita Dagar spoke to the UAE delegate participating in the second Employment Working Group meeting in Guwahati on the relevance of the priorities that have been selected for the working group by India's G20 presidency, the ideas exchanged on the way forward for skilling in tune with changing technology, and UAE's approach towards social security. Take a listen.
Basically, I find the discussions that where the Indian presidency have selected a few thematic priorities that I find very interesting and very critical to the United Arab Emirates. Not only to the subject of skilling and reskilling. Today we were presented with a very interesting presentation done by the digital group, and they demonstrated a lot of interesting ideas to enable and reskill the workers in order to adapt for the changing world. As you know, technology is changing the world that we live in today, and it's amazing that we're gathered here all together here today in order to discuss possible solutions for and ideas to resolve this before it becomes a problem. Another subject that we're in the UAE that we're very interested in is the idea of social security for unemployment. In the UAE we have actually come up with a very innovative approach, and I'm here to share this approach.
Nandita Dagar also spoke to the Mauritius delegate on the fast-evolving future of work and the growing global demand for skilling and reskilling. The delegate said that Mauritius is open to learning best practices that are being implemented the world over in the field of labour.
We have discussed a lot during the first meeting concerning global warming, global skills gaps, also sustainable financing of the social security, the gig and platform economy. All these are items very important for in the world of work. You know, the world of work is changing a bit quickly. There are a lot of changes coming in the world of work, especially with the digitalization of the economy, and we need people who adapt rapidly to change. And skilling and reskilling is becoming a most demanding thing in the world market today. And Mauritius as a country is very appreciated that we have been invited, and we are gaining experience. We are looking about what the world is doing in the field of labor, and all that is being done here. We'll try to put it into place also in Mauritius, and to learn from the developing countries what is happening in the world of work. And
speaking to DD India, the delegate from Netherlands spoke on the need to equip the workforce with necessary skills to be ready for the future labour market, and shared what Netherlands is doing in the sphere of social security for its residents.
Yes, indeed, skilling is a very important policy element in the Netherlands as well. With regard to the cost of living, but also the technological developments. Our labour markets are changing, so it's important that we equip the people with the necessary skills to be ready for the future labour market and jobs that will be created in the future. So what we are doing currently in the Netherlands is to introduce a budget. All Dutch citizens or people residing in the Netherlands are eligible for that budget, and they can use that budget to enroll in training, professional education.
G20 delegates attending the second Employment Working Group meeting in Guwahati did some breathing and stretching yoga exercises during their deliberations. Take a look.
Exhale and come back. One towards the left. Practice we'll do is legs around with it as much as you can. Inhale, go towards the right. Exhale and center. There is a beautiful So last round for stretching the stretch break. Slowly come down. Release your hands and relax. Close your eyes and standing. A bit of pranayama. For that, let's sit on it. Inhale.
DD India correspondent Nandita Dagar spoke to the Brazilian delegate attending the meeting in Guwahati on India's soft power manifested through yoga during the meeting. Take a listen.
Yoga is very popular in Brazil actually. I used to practice the yoga when I was in students to help me with my concentration, and it helped me a lot. And my mom, she practices yoga every day, and she's in her 70s, and she's very healthy, very capable. Although she's an elder, she's very agile and mobile and active. So I think yoga plays a really a special part in that part of her life of being so healthy. So yoga in Brazil is very popular, and I think we all acknowledge the benefits and the gifts that India gave us as giving us yoga.
DD India also spoke to the Indonesian G20 delegate on the popularity of yoga in Indonesia. Take a listen.
Yoga is very popular also in Indonesia, especially for the young generation. Also now become how to say, want to take the exercise yoga, because they want to get the balance between the hard working and also they have to balance with the health condition, and then how to maintain our shape of body and also the physically and mentally. So it's very, how to say, useful if we also insert it in every time of our meeting, and it make it more relaxed, and also make the blood circulation is more smoothly circulate.
Nandita Dagar also spoke to the Russian delegate on the proposals made by India as G20 president and also lauded India for its warm hospitality. Take a look.
To say the truth, the commitments and the proposals from the Indian presidency are very powerful and strong, and will, help to enhance the all G20 activities. This yoga exercises and the hospitality that India has to all the countries they meet, it's quite worthy. So I'm participating in these G20 activities for more than 10 years, and believe me, this is the first time I experience such hospitality and such warmth.
The Spanish delegate spoke on how the meeting is aiming at reaching a consensus on the issues discussed.
Thank you for your huge hospitality. We are impressed about Indian hospitality, and we are very happy to be here again in beautiful Guwahati. Discussions are tough and sometimes with certain topics, but I hope we reach a consensus, because I think we all want to agree in a whole text, in a declaration. So I think it's going to be like that.
On the second and final day of the Science 20 conference on the theme Clean Energy for Greener Future, delegates began their day with a relaxing yoga session. Science 20, remember, is an engagement group of G20 that brings global science community together on one platform.
Release your palms gently. Let the divinity manifest in you, in your self. That is yoga. Yoga is a system of education of body, mind.
It was a day dedicated to excursions. Science 20 delegates explored Tripura's diverse flora and fauna at Sepahijala Wildlife Sanctuary today. Delegates also visited the Bhubaneswari temple and Old Rajabari at Udaipur in Tripura. Old Rajabari or Royal Palace is one of the most important archaeological sites and attractive tourist spots of Tripura. And later in the day, the delegates visited the Neer Mahal Palace. DD India correspondent Kunal Shinde spoke to delegates after they attended a yoga session. Take a listen.
We've been very amazed by this hospitality of the government of India, well, especially the Tripura government. And then your chief minister, the Dr. Saha, he has been very welcoming us, and he even came to the event with the G20 delegate twice, which doesn't really happen that much. And as he said, the food and every arrangement has been very great.
First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Agatara Tripura government. I'm here now today morning for yoga at Oxygen Forest. Actually, it's a very beautiful place with unique and unequal nature. So I would like to say that I very appreciate the approach of using community-based conservations. Actually, we have the same kind of approach back home, but I see you are doing much better.
Let's now take you to a trip through Tripura, the scenic state of India that is hosting the Science 20 conference on the theme Clean Energy for Greener Future. A blend of culture and enchanting natural elements, Tripura plays a major part in mythological stories. Take a look.
Stories.
Delegates arrived in Nagaland for a conference on opportunities for multilateral business partnerships in a number of sectors like agriculture, food processing, information technology and tourism. Cultural troops received the delegates for the conference at the Dimapur airport earlier today. The second G20 Empower meeting of the Ministry of Women and Child Development started in Kerala today with side events focusing on women's empowerment themes. The Empower meeting with the theme Women's Empowerment, a win-win for equity and economy is being organized in Thiruvananthapuram for 3 days till the 6th of April. Panel discussions on important women empowerment issues in formal and corporate economies took place today to set the tone for the main events, which will begin from Wednesday. Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, Chair of G20 Empower, and Veena George, Minister for Health, Women and Child Development in the Government of Kerala, addressed the delegates at the inaugural session today. A Youth 20 summit began today in Oroville. Oroville is a township in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu. Youth 20 seeks to groom youth as future leaders by raising awareness on global issues and exchange of ideas. About 150 international youth delegates, including Orovillians, are participating in the 3-day Y20 summit as part of India's G20 presidency. Now, the G20 summit on the theme One Earth, One Family, One Future coincides with the 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo and the 75th year of India's independence. And so Oroville is welcoming youth in the 18 to 30 years age group from all over the world for the Y20 summit. The second tourism working group meeting in Bengal ended on a high note, fostering discussions that will drive positive change in the tourism sector. The meeting shed light on the working group's priorities. Delegates also participated in unique experiences and witnessed the beauty of the region. Here are some of the highlights from the meeting.
Incorporate indigenous communities in all tourism, the value chain of tourism. The other thing that's been quite interesting is really looking at how we can develop the desirability of the tourism industry for youth in particular.
I couldn't get a better view and a better weather here. We were at the UNESCO toy train, we were at the Raj Bhavan.
So those were some of the choicest glimpses that we got for you from the second Tourism Working Group meeting that concluded on Monday. With that, I take your leave. Thanks for watching.
Our guest today on this special episode of The Journey.
ये जो बेस माननीय प्रधानमंत्री बना रहे हैं,
you are born to make a difference. Your program says it's a journey. It's the startup India.
Do not go abroad. 10 more years.
75 years into India's vibrant democracy. This clearly is a story that needs to be unfolded. Please watch The Journey, Indian parliamentarians in conversation with China NC.
Traditional medicine is widely used and increasingly relevant in the world today. Yet, it has been around for millennia. At a time when we were more in balance with our environment and in harmony with nature, we began looking into its healing powers to cure our aches and pains and discover our own remedies. Our understanding of traditional practices began to grow. Now over 80% of the world's population